James Renault and Mark Gannon here with yet another video relating to IEEPA tariff refunds. And this video is titled Liquidation Dates, the Customs Deadline Most Executives Miss with IEEPA Tariff Refunds. So we're going to go right into it and explain what we're talking about. So let me share my screen here, and we're going to talk about different filing methods. So it's important to recognize that most people, when they start to go through the process of looking at IEEPA tariff refunds, the key word that most people look at is the notion of CAPE, and we did another video breaking that down, but CAPE filing. But actually, it's much more nuanced than that, and it's super important to recognize that there are different types of filing and there's different dates that come with filing. So, Mark, let's break down this particular image and recognize, as it shows at the very bottom, that after day 180, a window is permanently closed. So the fact is, the money is out there, but there's a certain process, there's certain nuances, and if you're not aware of these dates, you could be, and your company could be missing out on potentially millions of dollars.
Thanks, James. Hello, everyone. I hope you're enjoying these videos that we're doing. Just a quick disclaimer is James and I are not lawyers. We strongly encourage that you go and get legal advice, but you have to get specialized legal advice. Now, this is not your standard attorney. You just can't go to your attorney down the street. You've actually got to go to an attorney that specializes in tariffs and customs. The There's only 10 law firms in the whole of the US that can actually argue in the International Court of CRT, it's called International Court of Trade. So just be aware of that. And what we're just doing this for is informational purposes to try and educate you. We're learning as we're going as well. So you'll see it's not as easy as everyone says it is. So let's talk about, if you can refer to the diagram that James has kindly put up there. So let's assume that you're an importer. Let's explain as much as we can how this whole importing thing goes and where the liquidation dates occur. And a liquidation date is basically a window. So day zero. So on far left, top left hand side, it's the import received by US customs. So the liquidation period is days 0 to 314. Now remember that this whole thing started proven as unconstitutional from February, late February. Okay, and that's important to know. So the period which US Customs reviews the import and issues the liquidation. So it's the window. So day 314, now we're in the middle of the diagram here. The first liquidation date hits. And between days 314 to 394, both CAPE and protest, which is another form of claiming. But I'll just say it again, both CAPE and protest clocks start at liquidation. So as soon as that time finishes, this window opens. Now you can see that little orange line there. The CAPE window closes at day 394. Now you imagine, as an importer, this will be a nightmare trying to track. So what happens is, after the CAPE window closes, it can only go to what's called a protest filing. So now you're into a legal area. Days 394 to 500, is that 574, James?
574, that's correct.
Yeah, okay. It's just a little bit small here. Protest only from here to day 574. As I said, a protest is actually a legal process. Okay, so let's go to the left-hand side. Thanks for hanging in with me. Let's explain what CAPE filing is. Now, we did that a video of that actually yesterday, so you can go back. James will probably put a link for that video um, down below. But day 0 to 80 after liquidation, what is it? CAPE filing is the Customs Automated Processing Entry System. It's a direct upload of qualifying entries to the CBP, so Custom and Border Control portal, and it provides the fastest recovery at that stage. Now, the key detail here is that the importer or service provider uploads to the CBP portal. So that's, I suppose, that's a do-it-yourself type thing. Okay, but it's still very, very tricky. And if you miss things out, you can actually jeopardize the rest of your claims. So it's just got to be so careful because the devil is in the detail, and it really is with this. So, protest filing, let's go through that now. Days 80 to 180 days after liquidation. What is this? It's the formal CBP, it's a mouthful, isn't it? Protest after liquidation. It's filed in smaller batches of 8 to 10 entries per protest. That's exactly right. You just can't do a batch. And in fact, if you do a batch, it gets rejected. If it gets rejected, it's going to throw you out of the window. So you've got to know what you're doing here. So entry types not eligible for CAPE must use this path because not all entries are the same. So there's no deadline for CBP to process. Here it says 1 to 2 years is typical. So the importer or service provider, attorney or broker files here. So now we're going into more the legal stuff here. Pre-ruling qualified entries 2 years from liquidation. What is it? Entries with protest deadlines before the Supreme Court ruling, February 20th, 26. CAPE and protests now are actually unavailable. CIT litigation is the only path. Now, we are getting to that now. So you think about this whole thing started around February. The liquidation and the windows are closing. So this will be the only path shortly,
I
regardless.
think that's important to say, Mark, because a lot of times people that or companies that first look into this, they just see Cape and they see it as this one portal, but based on the time period of the imported goods, there's a
Mm,
huge amount of money. It can literally not be accessed through the Cape filing. It must, depending on the date range, it must be potentially from protest filing and or CIT litigation. So sometimes people have that question in their head, do it themselves versus through counsel. You can make that distinction, but for potentially a large percentage of the profits, or excuse me, a large percentage of the refunds can only be accessed through litigation. So to me, that's an important distinction that it's not an either or. It's do you want to go after the total amount of proceeds or do you not?
that's exactly it. And just note this, when it goes to the Court of International Trade Litigation, I'm at the bullet points here, so everyone refer to this. CIT admitted and licensed attorney only. So your normal attorney down the street or the local attorney cannot do this. So obviously now there's a rush of attorneys trying to qualify for this new qualification. I don't know the time frames on it, but they just don't have the experience. So they can qualify for it, but they don't have the experience, and that's what you need. Brokers cannot file suit in the International Court of Trade. So must file within 2 years from the date of liquidation. Okay. So, James, can you read that red bit down there because it's
Yeah.
cut off?
So at the bottom it says after day 180, the window is permanently closed in most cases. No cape, no protest, no alternative administrative process. For most entries, court action cannot be brought without first completing the administrative process. If that window is missed, there is no legal path available. So There is a real sense of urgency to get this done. Bottom line is, my suggestion is don't spend all your time trying to figure out all these dates. Go to someone that can understand this, that has the software, that has the experience, that can cut to the chase very, very quickly. And that's what our legal partners do. So that's what we're recommending, and we have a link to that below. So we're gonna have a link below to our CAPE filing video, but then we're also gonna have a link to our legal partners that you can fill out a quick form. Takes a minute to do, and then they will give you a call and walk you through the process so that you don't have to be stuck in the nuance of all these different things and make a lot of mistakes because, quite frankly, and Mark, I'm sure you can agree, at least in my opinion, it really takes someone with all this knowledge, with all this experience to get it done because they know all these different things that need to happen to make this work. And for the average CFO or company, it just by the time they get it figured out, the potential is there that some of these dates pass and then you're missing out on a ton of money.
Exactly. And the thing is, the windows are all shutting, so it's going to go to the only option for you is going to be litigation, which is in the International Court of Trade, which a broker cannot do. So you're going to be going to a legal counsel regardless. Now, James, if I can just tell them a little bit about our legal counsel. So our legal partners that work with us. Um, so what will happen is you'll fill this form in. Our processing desk or our processing team from upscale will ring you. They will go through certain questions just to make sure that you are the importer of record. They will probably ask you a few things back and forth. They'll also assist you with opening up what's called an ACE account, which is vital. You can't do anything without an ACE account, whether you do it through us or not. So that's one thing you'll have to get. And then if they're happy with that and all the boxes are ticked, they'll refer you to our legal partners. Now, our legal partners are one of only 10 companies in the whole of the US that can argue into the International Court of Trade. They've got over 40 years experience. They've got their own tariff and trade department. They've got offices throughout the US, and they're a top 100 legal firm. So 40 years experience. So, we're not playing with people who have just gotten attorneys who have just gotten the qualification. 40 years experience, so they will ensure that you get every cent that you're entitled to. Thank you, James.
A- Absolutely. So it's this is a super important video. Again, like Mark said, go below, click on that link, and then we'll walk you through the process. But the time is ticking very, very quickly. There's a real sense of urgency to go after that. But one thing we've alluded to, there's been so many changes recently, even though there's all these different time periods and they can go back several years and if you put in the Court of International Trade, it can take time to go through litigation. The fact of the matter is you can actually receive those funds in record time because there's lenders that are out there that are so confident that this money is going to come through that you can actually get paid at this point in a matter of days, if not a week or two. It's that window is getting quicker and quicker to get you that money. So there's one side of you understanding that it can take, there's a lot of time frame looking historically that's closing up to access these funds. But ironically, on the other side, you can get these funds very quickly. The bottom line is click on the link below, start that process, takes a minute to figure out, and then we'll get you on your way. And Mark, final thoughts?
Yes, one thing I forgot to say is that if you're a company that's already started the process and you're sitting there waiting for the court date to happen, which could be a year to 2 years, um, we can actually introduce you to the lenders that we're asking, that James was alluding to, that it's called non-recourse lending. So whatever happens with the process, whether the court is win, lose, or draw, you will get paid, and there's no recourse because they assume the claim. Okay, so yeah,
That's a big
reach
deal.
out
That's a
to
big
us.
deal.
Yes,
So Great video, Mark, and we'll see you. Check out all of our videos that we have. We break down everything relating to IEEPA tariff refunds, and we will see you on the next video.